welcome back to Brew Beer 101. We're going to do a brew day today. So like I said to you last time I spoke to you, it wouldn't be long until we'll be delving in the box of grain and getting on that HPA that we looked at. Now the recipe that I've got is a 25 litre recipe rather than a 23, so we'll be up on volume, which means that we can also do 6 bottles again like we did with the town crier. We get to try out the new adaptation to my filter that sits in the bottom of the Brewster, and also the new Sparge arm, which we'll see if it works or it doesn't work. So I'll get everything cleaned down real quick and then we'll get on with the brew. So we're going to mash in with a strike temperature 70 degrees. We're on full power, won't take long to get there. The pump's on recirculating as well, just to help it pull it across the element and heat it up a bit quicker. And we've also got our bucket sanitised, ready for our grain. So yeah, we'll weigh out and get ready to mash in. Eight is 3,800 of golden points, so 420 of the wheat malt. The wheat grain is a lot like sharper crystal, sharper husk. So looks like a harder compound, if you like that. There is it's obviously been crushed already, but it's really like sharp compared to the other grain. So just put half a Camden tablet into the water in the boiler, and that's now mixing around with the pump, mixing it for me nicely. I put a teaspoon of gypsum in with the grain, just because we'll stir that in when we do the grain, so that's okay. And we also need to put a teaspoon of gypsum into the Sparge tank, along with the other half of the Camden tablet that's left. I'll chuck 20 litres of water into the Sparge tank ready, just so I don't have to do it during the mash, and then we can get that starting to warm up during the mash then. So I'm going to stir that around, just to try and help it a little bit, because the water's so cold it tends not to want to mix. And then the half a Camden tab, just chuck that in as well. If you're enjoying the channel, by the way, obviously do hit the subscribe button. It's always a pleasure to have new people join us, and it does encourage you to make more videos as well. Keep it simple, that's what we like. Let's mash in. You can see how thick that's starting to get now. This is the one thing with mashing in these vessels. You are doing a very dry mix to begin with. It's just making sure you get no dough balls. That's looking good, no that is. It's all nicely moist, there's no solid bits in there. Just level it off a bit. So that always just sits above the grain on ours. Push that all the way down as far as we dare. Okay, so we're starting a 60-minute mash. We're on 66 degrees mash temperature and only 300 watts into the element, so we can start the pump now and get this recirculating. You can see small bits of grain have come out. Already starting to get that water volume up. See it coming through now. So I'll just control that flow to keep it from the overflow. So I'll keep an eye on that. We are getting a much better flow now with them holes drilled in, that's for sure. So just need to monitor that and let that settle. After just 3 minutes of mashing, got a lot of colour already in there. The flow's nice and steady coming out of the pump. And we're maintaining that minimum of 5 litres in the boiler. all is looking well. So time to get our sparge water on. So we can bang that on, set that just above 4, which it is, and we'll wait for that to warm up, keep an eye on that at the same time. So hopefully that'll only take about an hour and it'll be ready for sparging when that's just about finished mashing. It's done the 10 minutes left on the mash. Level 5 litres still, maintaining that nicely. And as you can see, it's golden. I thought it'd be a bit more cloudy than that because of the wheat malt, but it seems to have settled out quite well. So we'll see how it comes out. The sparge tank's up at 75. That's doing its thing, keeping it at that temperature. Obviously red hot to touch. The hops weighed out 30 grams of Target, 10 grams of Kent Goldens. This is the end of the mash done now. As you can see, it's crystal clear as well, which is looking nice. Nice golden colour. Still got that 5 litres we've been trying to maintain. The valve only just squeezed back a little bit. So that's the holes in the filter that we've drilled, obviously doing their job, letting that bit of extra flow through. So I'm not scared of it blocking now, whereas the last time I think it was a bit hit and miss. So that's the end of the mash, so I'll set the sparge arm up. We're just going to keep that sparge going now. It seems to be working okay. Fill up on level. We'll go all the way up to 30 litres again. So we're just going up to the 30 litres now. So I took the sparge arm off. Hopefully it all it looked like it rinsed it really well actually. It's probably the most therapeutic sparges I've ever done. Just sat there watching it go round. So we'll lift that off now. We'll stick it in the bucket. So during the sparge as well, we managed to get all the way to 85 degrees. The sparge took about 15 minutes from start to finish, from 15 litres up to the 30 litre mark. So that's a good even sparge, nice, good flow through that. So we're already starting to see the hop break starting to take place. So we should be up to the boil any minute now. 94.5 on there now. I'm just starting to see some ripples in places. So we're almost at the rolling boil. Once we get it settled at the rolling boil though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my portable refractor, which is what we measure sugar using that. We measure in bricks. We'll go through that in a minute once we get onto the boil. But I'm going to check what came out of the sparge water after I've put the grain into this bucket. There's a little bit of liquid in the bottom, so we'll see if there's any sugar left behind in that, which is a good way of checking on the new sparge method. So we're just starting to bubble through now. See, it's a lovely pale colour, hence the HPA, Hereford Pale Ale. But yeah, it's just coming up to the boil now. So we'll just let it burst through. There's so many complications to brewing beer, and on this channel what I'm trying to do is make it as simple as possible. I will do a review of this Beacon Brewster now we've done a few brews on it, so yeah, keep an eye out for that as well. I'm looking forward to doing that, because to be fair, the Brewster Beacon, so far so good. I think a few teething problems at the start, but we'll do a thorough video on that and do a proper review, I think. So the hop additions are going to go in 30 grams of Target with an hour left to boil, and then 10 grams of Goldens at 15 minutes left to boil, and obviously at the same time we'll put the Protofloc in with that. It's a good vigorous boil that is now. It's leaping out. So how this refractor works is it allows light through there, and then you put a liquid on there, on the blue bit, and shut the lid, and then you basically just look through there like a telescope, and if you look through you can see the scale, and what it'll do is it'll put a line across. I've put a little bit of the pre-boil mix in there, obviously allow it to cool down. So what we'll do is we put a little bit on here, just a little drop of the pipette, just like that, and then we close the lid. As you can see, that's like sandwiched it and it's filled up most of the lid. So as you can see, looking through there, the white becomes blue at 9 bricks, and 9 bricks is about 1036. So I'm just getting a drop on there, like so. So hopefully this should be about 1010 if we've got a good sparge and we've rinsed all the sugars off. So we're looking for 2 bricks on this. And as you can see, we're not at 2 bricks, but we're at just under 3. So that's actually really good. That's actually been a really effective sparge, that has. So that's really impressive. Yeah, it's definitely worth an investment to get one of these. They're not really expensive, but it's just another way of measuring your specific gravity. While we were running off our mash tun, what we would do is we would just every now and again, every 5 minutes or a couple of minutes, you just take a little sample, shut the lid, check your bricks by looking through it like a telescope, and then once you get down to near 2 bricks, you would shut the mash tun off then, that's feeding into the boiler, because all you're washing off the grain at that point is contaminants like tannins and stuff like that that's just going to affect the clarity of the beer in the long run. So yeah, a bit of an insight for you into the 3 vessel method. But at the moment we've got 70 minutes to go, so our first hop addition goes in here in 10 minutes. I don't want to bamboozle you with too much info all in one video, so that's why we here on Brew Beer 101 I want to take it nice and easy, a little bit at a time, keep it simple, so if you are looking to start out brewing you can follow each step and get a bit more intense as we go along. These hops smell absolutely beautiful. I've never used these Target hops before. They're not far off Fuggles, but they do smell beautiful. They're real fresh as well, considering they're a 2019 crop. So in with the hops, we'll go on the hot side. So we're just going up to the 15-minute mark. So this is the second and last hop edition. So this is the 10 grams of East Kent Goldings. Bit of fizz off the Counterflow. That's it. Flame out. So sit here for 15 minutes now, and then get the Counterflow Chiller and everything ready, and get it into the FV. So that's 22 degrees, coming straight out of the vessel at 90. So the chiller's doing its thing. So we'll let that fill and we'll do our SG and see where we're at. You can really see in this one, because it's such a light beer, how the change in temperature is shocking the protein out. That cold break, you can see it all swirling round. And if you look at the test jar that I've done, you can see it's already dropping out. At the bottom bit looks like custard. The top bit is nice and clear already. So that sudden change in temperature from 90 degrees down to 22 is a real good shock. So that's maybe why we're getting such a better clarity to the beer on the second brew to the first one, because we used the Counterflow Chiller instead of the immersion chiller. So time to whip her up, get some air into it, ready for that yeast. Sapphire SO4 again, and let rehydrate on the foam. Don't make life hard. You don't want to go into yeast starters and all that yet. So 10 days in the vessel, like 24 litres, 24 and a bit litres. So it was a little bit over, I was aiming for 25 on that one. See how quick that chiller has made it drop, made the cold break drop. Incredibly fast. So let's do a hydro test on it. So we're aiming for about 1040 on this because we want 4%. I think you'll agree we're about smack on the money with that. Smells earthy. Totally different hop, that Target. That's sweet. Another brew done, 3 brews in. Like I say, the next video I want to do a review or something to do with the actual equipment that we've been using and go into a bit more depth about that. So stay tuned for the next video. We'll see you soon. Cheers.